Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to go over an article titled, Victim Culture Hits the Courts. Woman gets paid for career she might have had, but gave up for marriage and kids. And big shout out to Ron over in the UK for sending me this article a few weeks ago. And guys, this article is exactly what it says there in the title. Basically, man and woman are getting a divorce over in the UK. And basically, the court ruled this woman's lawyer convinced the judge to basically pay her money for the career that she missed out on because she got married, had 2 kids, raised the kids, and all that shit. They're coming up with this amount of money that she is entitled to because she gave up her career to be a mom. Meanwhile, her husband obviously continued on his career, but big surprise, he paid all the bills and took care of everything. And this is crazy. And by the way, this isn't a situation where, she didn't get half the money. She did. Apparently there was a £10 million estate they had, £10 million in assets. She got half, and I believe she's getting alimony payments, and she's getting money, what they thought that she would get if she hadn't given up her career. And that's never happened before. It's completely crazy. I mean, you want to talk about, definitely, as they say, the victim culture. And guys, this is yet another reason why I do these articles, do these videos, to help you guys be aware of what it's like, what can happen to guys in the courts if you get married. You're screwed. And this is over the UK. So this isn't just the United States, but the point is, this type of crap is happening all over the world. I know this because of all the articles I read and do videos on from all over the world. I know this from all the emails that you guys send me from all parts of the world, telling the situations and how things are. I mean, it's everywhere. And so in this day and age, you got to be out of your mind to get married. You're completely throwing away your life in so many ways, but also all the hard work you put into it and the money you have and future earnings can go to a woman just like that. There's absolutely no sense in doing this anymore. And, guys, I do a video every day, and I'm doing my part to help you guys out, and it's like there should literally be a book, a handbook that every 18-year-old guy would be issued, making him aware of all these things so that he knows darn well what he's getting into if he decides to get serious with a woman and go down that path. And I guarantee you, it's not going to change everybody, but I guarantee a lot of guys would think twice about this because a lot of young guys don't know this. Or they have a scarcity mindset and don't think they're worth anything, so they're just going to settle for some woman and hope for the best. But if they actually pursued their goals and purpose in life and created value for themselves, they wouldn't be so quick and easy to settle. So that's one reason I push you guys always to improve yourself and better yourselves. When you have a lot of good things about yourself, when you feel good about yourself, you're not going to settle for shit in life. You won't settle for crappy friends. You won't settle for bullshit from your family. You won't settle for a mediocre job. You won't settle for a woman that just isn't that great to you, or you certainly wouldn't settle down with a woman knowing what you have, hoping that you can get someone to love you. See what I mean? That's why I push that. I push this so you guys can have a great life, but also that too. And so the young guys should have a manual like this just to make them aware of these things. But maybe that's something I should do in a few years. Who the hell knows? I've been thinking about it. But point is, guys, this is why I do this stuff, and this is yet another thing, another slap in the face to guys getting paid for the career you could have had, because we all know darn well it's the women that generally push the marriage and having the family and kids, or and someone would say, hey, you know what? Well, it's the guy that proposes. Well, usually that guy is manipulated into proposing, or there's some ultimatum involved. And some may say, hey, well, that's his fault for being stupid and not knowing that women manipulate. Well, that's why I do videos like this to teach guys this. And other channels like mine do videos to teach guys these things. So we're trying to help out. But anyhow, so I'm going to go into the article here, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. Like I said in the beginning, the title of the article is Victim Culture Hits the Courts. Woman gets paid for career she might have had, but gave up for marriage and kids. In an unusual divorce case, a woman has been awarded not only half of the assets she and her husband owned, but also a large payout for potential earnings she could have earned had she never given up her career to have children. The judgment in London could have dangerous implications for future marriages ending in years to come. thanks to a court ruling over a relationship-generated disadvantage. A relationship-generated disadvantage. How about the generated disadvantages to the guy of what he went through and is going through? But nope, nothing for the guy. And does this sound like equality to you guys? In this world where there's such a push for equality and all that, this isn't equality, this is screw over the guy. A judge used the term to explain why a woman was being awarded a payout from her husband of 10 years for sacrificing her career as a solicitor. The couple shared 2 children, both of whom the woman cared for full time. I guarantee you having those 2 kids was her idea. Guaranteed. It says in a quote here, the husband's career took precedence. I accept that it is unusual to find significant relationship-generated disadvantages that may lead to a claim for compensation, but I am clear this is one such case, the judge said about his ruling. And this is a male judge, by the way, that did this. You want to slap this guy. But karma's a bitch, because watch this male judge made this decision. Watch this guy have a wife that suddenly she divorces him. And then he has to pay out. So I wonder what will happen to that judge. But this isn't going to be a once and done situation. Other lawyers are going to look at this and be foaming at the mouth for ways to get their female clients, because that'll be the common case, to take advantage of this ruling. Guaranteed. And it won't just be in the UK. They'll pay attention to this worldwide and point to that, trying to make arguments. May work, may not, but it'll still be used. What makes this decision especially crazy is that the divorcing woman was not only awarded £400,000 for her supposedly screwed up career, but also half of the £10 million pounds she and her husband had in assets. The husband is also a solicitor. One would assume the splitting of assets would provide suitable compensation for one's personal career, taking precedence over their partners in a relationship, but now that is not enough. So, £10 million, that's a lot of fucking money, okay? It's way more than what it would buy here in dollars over here in the United States, okay? And it doesn't say where they live. It doesn't say if they live in London or some expensive area in London, but nevertheless, £10 million is still a lot of money. We can all agree on that, okay? But also, it doesn't talk about, I'm sure he's going to be paying money for child support. I'm sure that's a factor there. They haven't mentioned that. Or alimony. Of, future earnings and all that shit coming from him going to her, and the 400,000 pounds for her career that she missed out on because obviously big bad husband made her stay at home and have kids. Guess what, guys? I have news for you. You can't make women do shit, okay? Especially not in this day and age. So if she didn't want to stay at home, if she didn't want to have those kids, guess what? She wouldn't stay at home and she wouldn't have the kids. So I don't like this victim bullshit here. Now we're going to have word from her lawyer. Jane Kyer, the lawyer who represented the unidentified woman, excitedly said this judgment could impact future cases that present similar exceptional circumstances of putting family ahead of ambition and earning power, even though it shouldn't necessarily open the floodgates to a raft of relationship-generated disadvantage claims. Oh, my ass. I guarantee it's going to open the floodgates. And I like how they say here that her lawyer, which is a woman, big surprise, excitedly said about this judgment. I bet she was excited. I bet she was doing fucking cartwheels through the courtroom when this happened. Unbelievable. The judgment affirms that in truly exceptional circumstances, the principal compensation still exists in family law, and rightly so. Kyer's celebration of the principle of compensation still existing in family law is bizarre, because people going through divorces, especially men, are already responsible for what many would argue is a hefty amount of compensation awarded to their partners through settlements, alimony, and the splitting of assets. Exactly. To now create a new avenue where you need to pay someone for an imaginary what-if life they could have had if they never married you is preposterous, and merely one more way for people to take advantage of an already flawed system. Exactly. And it's going to be taken advantage of, absolutely. But, again, guys, this is yet one more reason to make it abundantly clear, do not get married. If you want to do relationships, short-term relationships, that's one thing, okay? But I did a video the other day about how in Canada, rich guy was dating this woman for 14 years. They didn't have any kids together. They didn't live together. They didn't have any joint assets. They didn't own property together, any of that shit. And she was awarded $50,000 Canadian dollars a month for 10 years because she was with this rich guy so long. Now, the guy fucked up because it was made clear in the case that he proposed to her a number of times, but she turned him down, and he often referred to her with her last name, and she quit her job, and he paid her money every month. These are all fuck-ups on his part, which obviously contributed to that ruling, which she made out like a bandit. But regardless, the fact was they never lived together, they never had property, never had kids, and she still got this money. So, and that was just having a relationship. So it goes to show you gotta be careful even with relationships nowadays. So it's gonna be funny to watch in years to come as more guys wise up and don't do even relationships or long-term relationships. You're gonna hear all the whining and all the crying and all the complaining from women around the world, how guys, they won't man up and there's no available guys out there and they don't want to settle down. Can you blame us? Who would ever put themselves in a situation like that knowing this information? Well, my mission is to provide as much education and up-to-date information on what's going on in the world to help guys out so they don't get screwed over like this dude and other guys like that around the world. It goes on. Staking a claim to assets or money earned while together is one thing. But to argue a significant other needs to take responsibility for your decisions is victim culture nonsense. And if one is putting family ahead of ambition and earning power, but they are also legally allowed to later be compensated for making such a choice, this sounds like they didn't put the family ahead of anything. Exactly. But we're in a day and age right now, guys, where pretty much everybody can play the victim card. It's not my fault. Some other thing that caused me to do this, or somebody put, assigning blame on everybody and every other thing except yourself. No personal responsibility, no accountability, nothing. It's unbelievable. Goes on. People make decisions in life. Sometimes those decisions are based on poor circumstances or fleeting feelings, but hindsight does not give one the right to throw around blame. You take responsibility for the decisions you make, live with them, and move on. I like the guy that wrote this part here. It's very good. If a person gives up on pursuing their career to be a full-time parent, that is a decision. Whether it leads to good or bad in your life, it's a decision you made. And quite frankly, it's hard to feel sorry for someone whining about a would-be career when they're about to walk away from a divorce worth £5 million. Yep. This ruling is essentially giving legal precedent to a very extreme form of victim culture. If you can't get a settlement from a significant other because they are responsible for your past decisions, plenty of other people can make arguments that they are owed compensation from individuals in their past who see as responsible for their failures. And there will be a never-ending supply of individuals, men and women, it isn't just women here, that would love to assign blame, point the finger because of their shortcomings in life and want somebody else to pay up because they feel entitled to that. Guess what, guys? In life, you are not entitled to shit, okay? You want a nice life, you want to have things, and you need to get off your ass and make shit happen for yourself. And are things always going to work out the way you want to? Very unlikely they won't. But constantly working hard at something, improving it, every day is a new chance to make something happen for yourself. Even if it's a very slow process, you can do it. You can get there through a lot of tenacity and drive and ambition and taking calculated risks. You can have a good life. But this idea, this notion that somebody owes you something, you're not entitled to shit, okay? But in this day and age, everybody feels entitled to something. Everybody feels entitled to a living. Bullshit. And that may be my American capitalistic views coming out here, but I'm not going to apologize for it. This ends saying, in a world where people fight tooth and nail to argue about what precise labels hold them back and which groups of privileged people keep them down, there are plenty who would surely love to make another person responsible for what they see as plights in life. Exactly. That's pretty much what I was just saying here. So guys, this is crazy, but yet another reason why you don't want to get married, and also and like I said about the article from Canada the other day, even get into long-term relationships. And I've told you before about living with women. Don't do that. You're out of your fucking mind to do that, because the headaches you're going to have with that, and how you could have a woman that you have a pretty darn good thing going, you move in together, guess what happens? It changes. And I've lived with plenty of women over the years, and I saw it happen. And I'm sure plenty of you guys have lived with women over the years, girlfriends and all, and watched things change. So I've warned you, don't do that. But now there's the part that can impact your wallet. But here now, again, over in the UK, woman gives up she has kids, gets married, and it's probably her idea anyway. And then she gets a divorce, and she gets awarded for what she could have had. You know, come on here. That was her choice. It's ridiculous. So guys, like I said before, don't get married. Pursue your goals. Make yourself a happy life. You want to date, hook up? Cool. Go for it. Have a great time. Always wear protection. Even better yet, if you don't want kids, get a vasectomy. That way you don't get potentially charged for anything, you know, or on the hook potentially for a pregnancy. But marriage, get the fuck out of here. It is not sunshine and rainbows. Most of the time people are unhappy. And statistically, overwhelmingly, they're going to end in divorce. So for you young guys watching this, be aware of this, okay? And you may say, oh, my girl's different or we're different. I have news for you. It has been proven that, guess what? She's not different or you're not different. And later on in time, it can come back to bite you in the ass. And you may not like what I'm saying. A lot of guys hate what I say. I get a lot of haters and I got a lot of hate email all the time. I'm used to it. But at the end of the day, I'm helping people out and I speak the truth. And some of you guys that hate me now may go on what you think is right and say, you know, that guy doesn't know shit. In 10, 15 years, you'll be in a situation just like this and say, that asshole was right. Well, I'm trying to help you out. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.